Hello, friends! Welcome to another episode of the Quilting Adventures of True Blue Quilts. I'm Andy, and I'm so glad you are here. In this video, I want to share some of the behind-the-scenes process of a quilt that came together as I was sorting through old bags of fabrics. When I start a project and maybe get interrupted or set it aside, I tend to keep everything in a project bag. And then when I'm done with the project, that bag just gets shoved on a shelf in the closet. And I have been trying diligently to sort through all of those project bags and get things sorted into my color bins so that I can pull exact colors for future projects and also get things cut down into usable sizes such as charm squares, 2.5-inch strips, those kind of things. So I found a treasure and I can't wait to share it with you. These are the craziest things. I am emptying out old project bags, and these are scraps from a project. I can remember very clearly sewing these tubes, and then you use a ruler to make wedges that were supposed to make an 8-pointed star called a crazy eights block or something, but they didn't turn out very well. Lots of, kind of like you have a problem with Lone Star quilts when you do those diamonds and you get puffiness in the middle and things. I was not having fun with that. So I am going to use all these excess to make fun half square triangles. So I'm just kind of, I've already got the 1/4-inch seam sewn, and so I'm using that as my guide to cut half square triangles. And then we'll just turn them into pinwheels, a nice charity quilt with these fun, colorful blocks. And I'm trying to process my scraps as I clean out these old bags of fabric. And I did put some yardage aside to deal with later because I haven't figured out if I want to cut them down into fat quarters, leave the yardage, that kind of thing. So in terms of honestly processing my scraps, maybe I'm not following through so much, but I'm making an effort here, and I have to figure out where that line is. It's hard to use the 45-degree line. Yeah, that turned out pretty square. See, didn't I do a good job choosing colors all those years ago? Oh goodness. So and then I wanted to set that open like that and kind of do a half square triangle here, and then that gives me some other funky rectangle shapes that I can put in my scrap bin. And I've got 1/4 square units that I can make from this that will make hourglass blocks. So yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having fun with these shapes, and hopefully other folks will too. Here's I have two other sets, so let me show you those colors as well. got this pretty, this is one of my absolute favorite K facet prints. It's called Paperweights. It comes in so many cool colors, and it just is such a wonderful focus fabric with all sorts of different colors in there. So that was my green. And then I've got this kind of bluish gray. And that one is not quite as good. There, I didn't quite match, well, maybe if you stand back. It's kind of a purplish blue, and that kind of matches some of the tone in that one too. So I've got some fun colors going on. So I'm going to show off my pinwheels, my orange one, and I love making monochromatic blocks. You know, the whole quilt will be a rainbow, but within each block I love finding darks and lights of the same color family. So this was really fun to put the orange together. And then I have a pink one, and I've got the fun swirls.
That's pretty.
And then I've shown the green. The green's my favorite, but
oh, I like that one too. And you got cape in there.
Yep. K facet paperweights, classic.
Anywhere.
get that in a bunch of different colorways. And then the blue is like the one thing that doesn't go together, because these other ones I was able to find, you know, a really good, almost muted color. And for the blue, kind of blue gray purplish,
that's nice.
Life,
yeah, that was great.
They're both prints. So I don't get the same effect because I have two prints together with this one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
In the project bag with all this stuff, there was also these black and white pieces, and I had enough of that to make some sashing strips. So I just had the 4 pinwheels, and I put the black and white with it. So today I am going to hopefully finish up these sashing bits, and then this will be a really good size quilt for a young child, so I can donate that to a charity here in my local area. Okay, so I've got my black and white sashing, and what I was trying to do was alternate the black and white with what color was in the pinwheel, but I couldn't turn it the right way to make it alternate with the color that's already there. I would have had to spin the pinwheel in the opposite direction. So it's going to look like the sashing extends a little bit into these outside. So like I said, the pinwheel kind of melts into the sashing there in that one little area, but oh well. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna look a little bit weird with some of the sashing blending into the pinwheels and then not in other places. But you know what? A kid's not gonna care.
Can you really do them in 2 different directions?
Yeah, like so if you're looking at my pinwheel, it's where you place that dark fabric. If you place the dark fabric,
oh, I guess I can see that now.
You know, it'll spin one way, and if you turn the dark fabric the other way, then it spins the other way. And so I have that concern now because I didn't pay attention, and I've got are these pinwheels spinning 2 different directions?
Now and so if you try to put them side by side without sashing, then you're going to have solid colors running. But you know what? It would create a secondary design.
Yeah, the hourglass block. So it's just one of those things. My mind always goes to the construction of the block. And anyway, I was going to show you how I laid out this kind of diamond pinwheel. it's kind of an elongated pinwheel. If you see, I started with my basic pinwheel in the center, and then I just matched up the dark fabric so that it made that parallelogram diamond type thing. And then I would fill in with solid fabric, the white here. And you could either cut the same size square, or you could make rectangles and put them, you know, and then sew a parallelogram to a rectangle and then spin them around to make your long pinwheel. All right, here is what the quilt looks like so far with the 4 large pinwheels and my black and white sashing. So tune in to my live Wednesday YouTube series and we'll put the rest of this together. I think this will work as border fabric. I have just enough to make a small border on the outside. The rainbow dots on that black background I think will tie everything together and look really nice. And I even have a kid themed Crayola marker backing that has been in my stash for a while, but I think I can put this together and use it as a back. And then this was an entire quilt from my stash, which feels really good. If you're looking for more scrappy quilt ideas, things to do with those orphan units, check out this video next and see another wonderful scrap quilt come together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.